Okay, today at the forum, we're going to go over the ballot measures on the 2024 California presidential elections. Well, the presidential elections. So to start this, Carl will do the first 5 propositions, 2 through 6, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I'll pick up the next 5. Carl?
Okay, well, I guess I can use this, you can keep that. Hi, everybody. So I thought what we're gonna do is we're gonna share a video. I'm sorry, we're gonna share a screen that's from a website called Ballotpedia, and I will be doing that just shortly. What we do is we'll go through each of the propositions one at a time. And in the meantime, at the end, I'd like to do a straw vote as to the way people think they would vote on that particular issue. And hopefully it can go very fast. And then actually, but first, I'll talk about it and then we'll talk about it here. And we can only limit the talking to about 2 or 3 minutes because there are so many of them. And if we have any left over, if we have more conversation we want to have, we'll do it at the end if there's time. We have to leave here today and be out by noon. So it's something, took us a little while to get set up and we started early. So anyway, let me do the share screen here. Share screen. Here, yeah, here we are, share. And Ballotpedia. Come on. Share. Okay, so this is the I got to get some of this stuff out of the way here so I can see. Yeah, I want to do the hide floating meeting controls and okay this so we can see things better. Okay, so the propositions I'm going to be covering are propositions 1 through, that's what I'm doing, right? One through 6. And if you notice, you notice these LRSS, this Ballotpedia site is very good. It does a lot of summarizing. And what proposition 1 is the when it starts with when it looks like this or like these here, it means that the whoops, what did I do? Now, when it has those listings in front, it means that the legislature put it on the ballot, whereas the other ones were put on the ballot by people signing up for them. And like BI means ballot initiative, as an example, and these LRCAs are put on by other groups. Anyway, let me get to proposition 1. And this is here. And I'm going to just quickly read through this. So it says renaming the. Hi, are you in for the Humanist meeting?
Yeah.
Okay, come on in. So it's essentially it's renaming the Mental Health Services Act 2004, the Behavioral Health Services Act, and expanding its purpose to include substance abuse disorders, including for persons without a mental illness. It changes the revenue from the 1% tax on the income to $1 million to spend under the law, including requiring 30% behavioral health sciences fund be allocated to housing intervention programs. Increasing the size of the Oversight Commission from 16 to 27. Anyway, most of this, if we look here, here is the, oh, wait a minute. Has this already been passed? It's on the ballot.
I think so. It's not on the ballot.
It's not on the ballot. No, I'm sorry. I got the wrong one. We want to start with 2 then. Proposition 2. Now, Proposition 2 is a bond issue. And they wish to issue bonds for construction and modernization of public education facilities. These are always a kind of a shoe-in vote. So what does Proposition 2 fund? Proposition 2 will issue $10 billion in bonds, $8.5 billion dedicated to elementary and secondary education, and $1.5 billion for community colleges. Proposition 2 would make changes to the formula used to determine the amount of each district is required to contribute to be eligible to receive state funding from the bond revenue. Measure would have required the state government to cover between 50 and 55% of construction project costs, and 60 and 65% of modernization project costs. Anyway, I'm not going to go through too much. Well, I'll go there. The legislative analyst office reported that California is repaying an estimated $80 billion in bonded debt and is authorized to sell an outstanding $35 billion in bonds. The state spends approximately $6 billion on general fund, 3% of the total fund each year to repay bonds. This office estimated the cost to repay the Proposition 2 be an estimated $500 million annually for 35 years. Let me go down here. What I think we're most interested in is the, by the way, all of this is in that packet, that mailing you received from the state of California. This is all, yeah. I think they can they see that? Maybe not. They can't see this, huh? Anyway, it's the general election information. This is all in there and pretty well reported. So let's see who supports it. This is very important to me anyway, who's supporting the thing. So it's the California Federation of Teachers, Labor Federation, Association of California, well, just guess what? The usual suspects, League of Women Voters. Arguments, the bottom line is any school bond that we place on the ballot is not going to cover the enormous needs for our K-12 schools and community colleges. This money will help address the problem. Who's the opposition? This is always important to me. If these guys are against it, I'm for it 99.99% of the time. These are the guys who lovingly got us Proposition 13 and why we have so many bond issues now. But anyway, the argument is that there's essentially this money will be used to fund school construction. And and of course, Howard Jarvis is against any debt, period. It doesn't matter what it is, because it's going to raise taxes ultimately in the end. So let's see who's supporting this now. Yes, on Prop 2, Californians for Quality Schools. Yes, they put out the most amount of money, $4 million, little $4.5 million. Yes, on Proposition 2, Coalition Housing Issues, 318,000, etc. And the donors, and you can see who they are. They're the usual suspects. Let's see. I don't want to read. I'm not going to go through who says what, because newspaper comments really don't mean too much to me. Who's opposed? The Bay Area News Group editorial board. That's our local papers, like the Murky News. They're part of Bay Area News Group. And anyway, let's see here. What do we got? We're going to go down here. I'm looking for the let's see here. Where is it? Where it says how much money? Let's see. California Education Bond Fund Facilities Bond Measure. Anyway, generally speaking, this is just a bond. And let's see how much money was spent to oppose. You notice here that there was no money spent to oppose this bill. That usually means that it's such a shoe-in that any competitor would not bother to spend any money on this thing, because it's so well, it's so favored, if you will. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go back here and I'm going to ask for a straw poll. Let me yes.
Your video is stopped. Can you start your video?
It stopped?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we should have it going, yeah.
Yeah. Can you turn it on? Stop sharing, perhaps hit Alt V.
Oh, I see. You mean I have to do that? And why am I doing that?
But we can't see you.
Oh, I see. Oh, we can't see the people. Okay. All right, so let me,
See the slash in the lower left?
oh, yeah.
Thank you.
So
Oh, it's broken. I'm sorry. I
what?
don't know how to fix it.
Oh, can't we go to view and show gallery?
Sure.
Okay,
Your camera's still off.
huh?
This camera's still off.
Camera's still on.
Yes. And maybe we can't fix it. I think it might have been double clicked. Maybe that's the problem. How does that work? I think he may have clicked that an extra time. So back off. What should we do now? Maybe try one more time. Try one more time.
I can't hear you.
Click it one more time.
Click what more, one more time?
Video.
What video?
The red slash in the lower left.
Oh,
Walk away slowly.
uh-oh. Boy, I hope we didn't lose video.
Thank you, Carl. Okay, sorry.
Okay, so anyway, so just a straw vote on this proposition 2. How many folks are in favor of it? I couldn't imagine myself. Is there anybody out there that would like to make a comment to say that they're against it?
Looks like we got a mark from David B.
And Rick Thomas.
Oh, Rick Thomas is against the bill? Oh, he's in favor. Okay,
Thumbs up, I see
so it looks like it's 100%.
both of them, yes.
Okay, all right. Well, let me go back to the share screen again. And let's see if we can get this. I gotta go through these gyrations here. I don't know if this is very very good. Okay, so what did I do? Oh,
I think you want to share a different screen.
I want to click. Oop, man. Oh, it got away from me. Want to be here. So the next proposition is proposition.
You're still sharing the other screen.
I am?
Yeah,
How do you know that?
because I'm logged in.
Oh, I see. You can see what's going out. Well, how do I? So I have to go back out of share screen?
Escape key.
Huh?
Hit the escape key.
Okay,
Stop share.
stop share. Yeah,
Stop
I
share.
what'd you say?
Share. The green
Share
button.
again? Yeah, okay. And now what? If I share screen this way, I can always show everything, right? I just have to get to the right one. Get rid of that one. Get rid of that one. So where is it? That just messed me up. Man, I can't see anything now. Okay,
Just to find Ballotpedia without sharing. Yeah, stop share. That's it.
stop sharing again. I'll just click on the,
No, not share. Oh, do you see Ballotpedia? I don't see it.
oh, I don't see it either.
Where was it? You have to get back to Ballotpedia.
Hmm?
You have to get back to Ballotpedia
Yeah,
Hello,
before you share.
the third one from the left in the second row.
this is the Humanist. Yeah. Wow. Boy, what a bunch of monkey business here. Let me,
Was Ballotpedia a file or was it a website?
it's a website.
The browser.
Yes, I need to go to a browser. Not there.
Are you sure?
Yeah, here it is right here. It's on this one. Okay, so if I click on here, it's back. Okay, so now I need to shrink this down. Share. This is Ballotpedia here, right? Yeah, we're back there finally. Oh. What the hell? Try it again. It's here.
That's it now.
Yeah, now I gotta hide the floating meeting controls. Okay. Wow. So we want three here, right? Proposition 3. So it says, right to marry and repeal Proposition 8 amendment. So this had some controversy in another group I was with. So a yes vote supports the constitutional amendment to repeal Proposition 8. I remember that from way back in 2008, which defined marriage as a union between one man and one woman, and declare the right to marry as a fundamental right in the California Constitution. A no vote would not strike that down. How would the amendment change the California Constitution? The amendment would repeal Proposition 8, which defined marriage in the state as between one man and one woman, reversing the state judicial ruling that legalized same-sex marriage in California. The amendment would also add language to Section 7.5 of the article of the state constitution, establishing a right to marry as furtherance of the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, and privacy and the due process of equal protection. Proposition 8 was invalidated by U.S. Supreme Court ruling in Obergefell versus Hodges in 2015. Have any other states repealed same-sex marriage ban from their constitution? Yes, it was in Colorado, California, Hawaii. So how did this amendment get on the ballot? This amendment is a legislative referred ballot measure that receives 67-0 vote with 13 absent. State Assembly, and 31-0 vote with 9 absent. Anyway, let's go down here. Ballot summary amends the Constitution to recognize fundamental right to marry. Supporters. Well, let's see. We got a whole bunch of them, including Gavin Newsom, some senators, blah blah blah. California Democratic Party, ACLU, Human Rights Campaign, League of Women Voters, Planned Parenthood, Trans Latina Coalition. Anyway, opposition. California Capital Connection. I do not know who these people are. California Family Council, but I bet we will refer to them as people that lean to the right and are religiously oriented. Concerned Women for American Legislative Action Committee, blah, blah, blah. Campaign financing. Well, let's take a look at this. Once again, how much money is being spent to oppose it? 0. And how much money is being spent in favor of it? Is that what, $2,900,000? And so who's in favor of it? Who are the donors, etc. Anyway, the bottom line is that in this particular case, it's one of these shoe-in rules, right? It's going to make it no matter what. So is it worth spending more time on? I'm not sure. But do you have any comments, Alex, about this?
No.
No. Does anybody have any comments locally here? Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much a shoe-in kind of thing. So I'll tell you, I don't know how to do a straw vote without going to that gyration again.
Maybe put it off till we get a few of these.
Okay.
Maybe do it at the end if you were talking, I'll do it at the end of mine.
Okay. All right. So anyway, we can see that this one here is a, like I said, a shoe-in for sure. So let me go back to the main list and let's go to 4. Issue $10 billion in bonds from state to fund local parks, blah, blah, blah. So let's look here. California Proposition 4, Parks, Environment, Energy, and the water bond issue. And it's a yes vote supports issuing $10 billion in bonds to fund state and local parks, environmental protection projects, water infrastructure projects, energy projects, and flood protection projects. Now, who's going to be against that? Anyway, Proposition 4 would authorize the state to issue $10 billion in bonds to fund various environmental, energy, and water projects. Proposition 4 would require that 40% of the bond revenue be used to fund activities that benefit communities with lower incomes or that are affected by environmental changes or disasters. The bond measure would also require the Secretary of Natural Resources Agency to publish a list of programs and projects on the agency's website for the public. The measure would require the report to list the project's location, objective, status, anticipated outcomes, total cost, the amount of bond funding, and who Who supports and opposes it? Ballotpedia has not identified any campaigns registered to support or oppose Proposition 4. The bond measure has been endorsed by the California Labor Federation, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So this is certainly an interesting one, right? In that we get down here to the money being spent. Who's in favor of it? Well, California Democratic Party, per se, AFL-CIO, you can see all these ACLU, all the usual suspects, League of Women Voters, which are usually pretty neutral on these things. And arguments in favor, every California has felt the impact of climate crisis, whether it's wildfires, extreme heat, flooding, sea level rise. I feel like this will resonate with other voters who want to protect us. Opposition. Who's in opposition? There it is again, Howard Jarvis. They're against anything. They're the reason why we're having so much trouble in California as of Proposition 13. So, okay, so that's another shoe-in one. It appears. Let's see how much money was spent here. Woo! Looks like it's $3 million was spent as support and zero again. So you can imagine what that means. All right, so let me go back. And we got Proposition, this is an interesting one, Proposition 5. This is one that has some amount of controversy to it because of for Proposition 13, I believe it was, that requires local bond measures to have a 66 2/3 majority in order to pass a bond issue. And so what happens now, I don't know how many of you folks have this, but we've had it happen a number of times in Sunnyvale, and it's probably happening other places too. What happens is when they have a bond issue, what they do is they have a special election, which is held some odd time other than when normal elections are held. And they whoop up all the parents in the schools to want to vote for that, bond issue. And they exclude people over 65. They always vote, right? So by excluding them, they don't care about it. Essentially what it does is it slams a tax on your property tax. And so somebody's going, it's going to be paid for somehow. I presume most of these are 30-year bonds. And so what happens though is that if you lower it to 55%, it's more likely, I'd say, according to my understanding, it's more likely that they'll move the vote closer to a regular election time, like for every 2 years we have a regular election. They'll put them on the ballot then instead of putting them on in an odd year in March, holding a special election where only a tiny fraction of the voters vote, but they can get 2/3 majority. It's kind of a goofy way to do it. So let's just see. This one, as I said, is a little more. So it lowers it from the original 66 2/3 to 55. And some people have argued that may be too low, it may be too low a threshold. But anyway, it's endorsed by of course, the California Democratic Party and a bunch of other folks. Let's go down here. So basically, it lowers the supermajority, and it turns out though that the people have to put a portion of the local money has to go into it. You can't just approve it. Anyway, so what this is really saying is that when you have these local elections, you will have a much lower threshold to get them through. So let me go here. Fiscal impact is increased local borrowing to fund affordable housing. What's wrong?
It's not working.
Oh, it's not working. Measure would repeal and replace blah 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 whatever in the state constitution. The supporters, of course, the California Labor Federation. Why? Because it funds more construction. So you expect them to state funding, Construction Trades Council, ACLU, AIDS Healthcare Foundation, not clear why they're supporting it. California YIMBY, that's Yes in My Backyard, League of Women Voters. The opposition is Placer County Board of Supervisors, what they got to do with this, I don't know. The Republican Party, of course, is against any spending any money, and of course, the local yokels, Howard Jarvis Taxpayers Association. So more than 4 decades ago, prompted by years of rising, Californians resoundingly approved Proposition 13 to provide a check on local government taxing authority and to ensure a greater representative voice for those who would be taxed. Proposition 13 also limits taxes on property to 1% of the property's assessed value. So, and of course, this has been caused a lot of distortion in the property taxes in California. Right now, it's to my advantage because I've been living in my house a long time. For other people, it's a real wallop for them. Anyway, who's supporting it? You can see this is a little more controversial. 5.25 megabytes in support and 3,200,000 against. And who are the donors here? Like Chan Zuckerberg, California Alliance for Jobs, etc. And these are, to me, would be the opposition is the No on Proposition 5 taxpayers sponsored by California homeowners, businesses, and taxes. This is obviously some PAC of some sort. And the Protect Proposition 13 group, well, you know what they're about. So anyway, this one here is, as I said, it's controversial. The only controversy that I have heard is it lowering it too low? I mean, you know, is it 55% too low? And I guess that depends upon what your thoughts are. I think Proposition 13 has walloped the ability to do bonds so heavily that it's created a bunch of nonsense in California school financing, especially in other public facilities. But that's just my opinion. Anybody else have any comments about this one?
I do kind of like the idea of a higher threshold for a constitutional change. It's, you know, they're harder to reverse and so on.
Yeah, that's true.
And you get, you know, laws that are on the books because they were popular at the time.
Yeah. Well, anyway,
We've got 2 hands up and we've got 50 minutes left in the room.
okay, so what should we do?
Let them talk for 30 seconds.
Okay, let's let the people have their hands up. I can't see them, unfortunately. Michael has got his hand up.
Yes, Michael.
Yeah, go ahead, Michael. Keep it short, though, please.
Yeah, so I can tell why IMBY supports this proposition, because in the past, the 66% threshold was used by these vocal minorities who opposed, say, building more housing, more affordable housing, and so on. And so that's the reason behind their support.
Okay.
Then
Okay, Zem.
Yeah,
Quick
Carl, you said something interesting that they were preventing people over 65 from voting. How is that technically possible?
No. They say they don't have to suffer the increase in taxes. In other words, if you're over 65 and you own your home, you can become exempt from this additional tax.
Oh, okay. But you know, I always saw these measures on regular ballots during regular elections. So you're saying that they also had like special one-off? I mean, not elections, I guess referendums, I guess you could call it. I don't recall seeing that.
Yeah, the local, it's very expensive to hold a special election.
Right.
But on the other hand, when you really want to pass a bond issue, you do what I said, you monkey with the system. And as far as I know, every one of the local ones in Sunnyvale have passed, mainly because only, you know, 10% of the population votes, but the rules don't say you have to have a minimum amount of votes. So they get around to this that way, and I think it's sort of silly, actually. But nonetheless, I've been exempt from all of these special taxes. I think they usually amount to about 1/10 of a percent, so on your tax bill. And depending upon the cost of your house, like if you pay $2.5 million, that means you have to pay $25,000 in taxes plus all these extra ones. You can imagine how you get walloped if you buy a house today in Sunnyvale. You got to be pretty wealthy. So in the meantime, I only pay on 2% increase a year over 30 years from when I started, and it's much lower. I think my house is worth about 2.5 million, and I'm paying on 638,000. So I just give you an idea of how this causes a problem. For me, not you don't want to sell your house. Let's not talk about that. That's a problem. That's just problematic.
Yeah.
Let me
One more.
one more hand up.
No, one more proposition.
Oh, one more proposition. Oh, shoot. You're right. Sorry. Let me go back again. Here they are. Okay, let me go back one. Well, this is not going like I wanted, so it would be 6, right?
Correct.
Remove involuntary service. This is an interesting one. We had a lot of arguments about this in another group I was with. What is involuntary servitude? But in the prison system today, they have a lot of incentive programs where they pay people a penny an hour. I don't know what is $1 an hour, something like that.
You were joking. That's really the amount?
Yeah, it's $1 an hour, $1.25 an hour, something enough to buy cigarettes. I mean, it's a really interesting thing. I'm not an expert in this, but I do know it's very low, whatever it is. But they try to incentivize people to work. And in some states, they actually can force people to work that are in prison. They can say, it's good for you to work, so you should work. But this law wants to specifically exclude that. So it says they call it involuntary servitude. I don't know if that's the right term. Some people would think that maybe you should work if you're in prison. Maybe you should do something useful. But there's apparently some arguments between different liberal groups about whether this is the right thing to do or not. And they say you should have free choice. So it should be, for example, you probably heard during the fires, a lot of prisoners, they get their sentences significantly reduced if they fight fires. They also make $5 an hour or something. I mean, it's some minuscule amount of money given them what the firefighters are actually paid, which is a gigantic amount of money. Anyway, anybody have any comments? You want to comment on this, or anybody here want to comment, or out there?
Yeah, I wasn't clear. You say they're getting paid maybe $1 an hour. What does this bill do? Raise that or eliminate it or what?
Oh, it says that you cannot force someone to work. They can choose to do it, so they can have an incentive. Apparently, if you distribute the library books like you see in the movies, right, or you do the laundry, or you, in our case, make license plates, you get paid to do that. So it's how to make some money to buy cigarettes or whatever prisoners do. But you can't say, okay, you have to go, you're forced to go. And right now, I don't know if we actually do that or not. There may be some counties that do that. That may be why they're passing this law. I do not know much about that. Maybe someone else does. Anybody got a comment? Otherwise, let's move on to Alex's part, and I'll let you sit in front of here.
Okay,
Oh, and we were going to take a straw poll, right?
that's right. Yeah,
Let me,
Let's, running out of time.
we'll skip the poll.
skip the poll.
Yeah.
Okay.
How do I get to
So
from proposition to proposition here?
Yeah, you kick here, and then you can click them on.
Okay.
Sit in the chair there.
Get out. Almost as if control. Yes. So what do we got here? We got Prop 32, increase state's minimum wage to $18 an hour. Where's the-
Oh, you're not on.
excuse me. Prop 32 is increase minimum wage to $18 an hour. And then untie myself here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so the ballot, it will increase state minimum wage to 18 hours an hour by 2026 for all employees with more than 25 workers and $17 an hour for employees with fewer workers. And the rate will be adjusted annually for the increased cost of living. Yeah, I didn't look at this page, so it might not be in the same order, but so let me just go through my notes here. Total contributions for the bill are almost $11.5 million. Contributions opposing the bill are 65,000. Unless I've got a misplaced decimal point there. Let me look on here. Support. Carl, where were you where you had money for and money against?
Where the money goes,
Yeah,
keep scrolling down.
I'm not going in the right direction, huh? There we are, yes. Right, $65,000 opposed. And the arguments for that wages haven't increased with the cost of living and the director of the Food Labor Research Center at UC Berkeley argues that restaurant workers will not come back to the industry until wage increases are permanent. And this ballot measure will allow service workers to come back to work in restaurants and allow the California restaurants to fully open again.
Make a comment?
Yeah, Carl?
Yeah, what came up in another conversation that we had was that, I don't know if you know, like, for example, in McDonald's in Sunnyvale, the prevailing wage is $21.50 an hour right now. So you say, why the hell do we need this thing? Raise it to $18, who cares? Well, it turns out that in a lot of the communities in California that are outside the Bay Area, the wage rates are still at $7.25 an hour, which is the federal minimum wage. And so this would make it more uniform. Of course, then there's the argument, which we're not going to get too much into here, about the fact it causes job automation and companies fire people and, automate work and those sorts of things. And there's arguments back and forth amongst the liberals about whether or not it actually causes job losses and, it's hard to believe that if you look at automating any other industry, like say, the fast food industry, if you automate it, you end up with less workers. That's why they automate.
And those are the essential arguments against it. That
Right.
it will be counterproductive and increase layoffs and prices and inflation. Fiscal effects are estimated. The number of jobs could go down probably by less than a quarter of a percent.
Somebody raise their hand here.
Okay, let me just finish what I'm reading here. In that greater government costs for workers, but at the same time, less costs due to lower healthcare and human services. So that's not more than 0.5% of the general fund, which is the fund that's used to pay for schools and police and health services.
Dana, Jerry, I guess has a comment.
Yeah, Dana or Jerry, you have a question? Quick one.
Well, I just want to make a comment. Traditional economics says that if you increase costs, then you reduce demand, and so in this case, that would translate if you have increased minimum wage, then people will lose jobs. But it's also been pointed out by others that if you increase the minimum wage, then people have more money to spend, and so that brings the demand up, and so it's not clear whether it's a net win or a net loss.
Yeah, that's part of it. That's part of the arguments back and forth on having any minimum wage. And the question is, if the minimum wage, supposing we raise the minimum wage to $1,000 an hour, that certainly would distort the economics. And the question is this going to distort it or not? I'm sure Greg has comments about that.
Yeah, no, I'm just looking for,
Want to click, knock down this thing? Exit out.
Michael has the same.
okay,
Michael had his hand up? I didn't see it.
Yes, there is this ongoing discussion about the pros and cons for this minimum wage increases. But I think that for California, we have so much higher cost of living, especially related to housing, that for us even $18 it's not too high. So I don't expect negative effects here outweighing positive effects, but that's just my opinion.
okay. Let me go on to Prop 33. Prop 33 will repeal the Costa-Hawkins Rental Housing Act of 1995. And that act, by repealing that, that will allow,
On the wrong one.
I don't know how to get to there. I'm not sure how to get to that on the screen.
Yeah, this
What do I go back to? Just keep going back.
back arrow up here at the top. There, yeah, goes back.
Too far.
Wow, what happened?
One of these things?
Let's scroll down, scroll down. There they are, yeah.
Ah, yes, okay, what am I on? I'm on 33.
33.
Okay. Yes, it allows, by repealing it, it'll allow cities and counties to limit rent on any single housing and housings completed after 1995. And it limits the rent for first-time tenants. And it means that they can limit the rent on first-time tenants. And the bill also adds language to the state to prohibit the state from limiting the right of any city, county, or city and county to maintain, enact, or expand residential rent controls. Okay, so there's total contributions for the bill is something over $66 million. Against the bill is I don't seem to have a number on that. Is this?
I can just scroll down.
Support. Here we are. Yes, excuse me. Supporting the bill is almost $39 million. Opposed is over $66 million. And most of the support goes from renters and homeowners for rent control. They're the major donors. They're over 38,000 right there.
I'm gonna make a comment. You know, one of the issues that's prompting this particular bill is that there is absentee landlords that are essentially running REITs and those sorts of things, and they could care less if they raise the rate to the market, whatever it will bear. And this would be an attempt to limit those people, because I believe if there's more than less than 4 units involved, most cities don't regulate the rate of increase. But on the big ones, this is intended to rein those guys in. And of course, again, in my opinion, it will cause a reduction in the new large complex apartment construction.
We have a hand up.
Oh, we're gonna hand up. Oh, Michael, again.
Michael, a quick comment.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. Some organizations, pro-housing organizations, support it, and some oppose. For instance, South Bay INBI is opposing this measure because they worry that this would inhibit new housing construction. And maybe that's a valid argument, but I'm still going to vote for this because the California Apartment Association is against this proposition. And I know that California Apartment Association was in the past against even this limited rent control in Mountain View, and it has a very bad reputation, at least in my view. But still, this is a valid concern about this limiting housing production, and I'd like to hear from you. What do you think about this? Because I'm still a little on the fence.
We're almost out of time here, so let me just go on. This is supported by the Democratic Party, opposed by the Republican Party and the Howard Jarvis Taxpayers Association. So let me go on to the next one. Elections. Now, how did I get here?
There you go.
There we are, 34. I think that was the interesting one, yeah. This is sort of complicated. Restrict spending by healthcare providers meeting specific criteria. It requires healthcare providers to spend over $100 million in any 10-year period on anything other than direct patient care and operating multifamily housing, with over 500 high-severity health and safety violations, to spend 98% of revenues from the federal discount prescription drug programs on direct patient care. It penalizes violators with the loss of tax-exempt status and licenses to operate healthcare insurance plans, pharmacies, and clinics, and penalizes, I just reread that, okay. And
That last one, this law, the Medi-Cal RX, the prescription program is the sunset, I believe, in 2026. This law would extend it permanently, as I recall.
yes, it permanently authorizes Medi-Cal RX into state law. So the total contributions are almost $30 million for, and almost $30 million. Excuse me, I've got something wrong here. I'll have to go back to this. I've got the same number for both.
You want to scroll that down?
Yeah, let me scroll down.
See what it says?
It's such a long way down, though.
Way down there. There, ooh.
Did I pass it? Support. There we are. Here we are. Almost $30 million in support and about something over $1 million opposed. So there's a big difference there. And the arguments are it's an accountability measure, and some nonprofit health organizations that receive federal funds spend large amounts of the money on political causes. Those against say that because the way it's worded, it's specifically aimed at who's it, the AIDS Health, I forget the name of the organization, which among other things provides housing, low-cost housing, and so on. And they're actually referring to it as the Anti-Renter California Apartment Association. It's described as a poorly veiled attempt by the California Apartment Association to silence political adversary. The other comment I sort of liked was that complicated healthcare policy ought to be made by a legislature, not foisted upon the electorate. The bill is supported by the Republican Party and the Howard Jarvis Taxpayers Association. Opposed by the AFL-CIO. Let's look at contributors here. Support. Yes, on patients now doesn't mean anything. We've got opposing editorials by the Mercury News and East Bay Times, San Francisco Chronicle, Bay Area Reporter, and Los Angeles Times. Sorry. And okay, that about covers it, I guess. I'm inclined to vote against it just because the details, the first paragraph really does sound complicated, and I'm not sure that this is something I should be voting on. I think the last comment about this is something the legislature should deal with is probably correct.
Yeah, there's a lot of TV ads on this particular.
There are.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they're mostly no's.
Okay, I got two more propositions to go through. Prop 35 supports permanently authorizing a tax on managed care organizations based on monthly enrollees, which is set to expire in 2026. And it requires further revenues to be used to increase Medi-Cal programs. It also changes which services get funding increases.
Are you gonna?
What? Oh, I'm still on.
Yeah, you're still on the other one. Oh, no, not there, up in the upper left corner. There it is.
And then
Which one?
here we are. 35.
35, okay.
Okay, my notes on it. This is the one with, just want to check on donations. This was, I believe, the one with zero money against, yes, opposed. Supporting money is over $48 million, no money in opposition. So it's got a good chance of passing. Let me just read the comments. It'll help Planned Parenthood health centers and other community health care centers to serve more patients. And the proponents say it will not raise taxes since it's an extension of a current tax. And it prevents the state from redirecting tax funds to other purposes. And I don't see any arguments against either. We'll move on. I've got less than 5 minutes, negative 5 minutes. 36 allows felony. No, this is the.
Like Michael had his hand up.
I'll get you in a minute, Michael. Let me read this.
Yeah, I don't need a minute. I just wanted to say that as a rule of thumb, if I don't understand the intent and the meaning of propositions, I don't vote for them. And this is related to probably 34 and 35.
Okay. Now 36 allows felony charges and increases sentences for certain drug and theft crime. The initiative makes changes to Prop 47, which was approved in 2014. And I won't go into the details of that. Total contributions for it are over $11.5 million. Contributions against are about 1.8 million. Supported by Walmart, Target, Home Depot, California Business Roundtable, and California Corrections Peace Officers Association. So this is a response to a lot of store robberies that have been going on in San Francisco and elsewhere that haven't been dealt with. People opposed. What do we got here? We got California Council for Working People, North American Issues Committee. That's, well, the ACLU, SEIU. And comments against it from the Bay Area Reporter editorial board. We believe it's unnecessary as lawmakers have addressed and continue to work on this problem. We think locking up drug users of drugs is not helpful. Governor Gavin Newsom says it takes us back to the 1980s with mass incarcerations, promotes promises that can't be delivered. It talks about rehabilitation centers. It points out that there are 22 counties that don't have one residential treatment facility. And the other argument is to reverse the state's gains in reducing racial inequality and unconstitutionally crowded prison populations. And it's supported by the Democratic Party and the Howard Jarvis Association, and opposed by the Democratic Party.
Yeah, this is the one that I think this is the one that the felonies, remember what we did was they essentially changed the threshold where a person it could be called a felony as opposed to a misdemeanor. And that kept a lot of people out of jail. And then there's some argument that these people then went rampant committing crimes. And I guess it's a controversial one as far as I know. But we don't, the problem is if you pass this damn thing, you're going to end up with more people in prisons. And that was the wrong direction to go. I don't know.
Yeah, the comments here, it'll increase the cost of state criminal justice and increase the court overloads. It'll also increase local court justice courts because of the increased prison community supervision population, and it'll increase the local court workload. It says it will reduce the amount the state must spend on certain services likely by $95 million. By the way, we have our present spending, according to my notes here, is $500 billion annually, which is a big number. I think the general fund is something in the order of 80 billion.
I thought it was closer to 100, but I'm not sure.
Okay.
You mean the California budget?
Yeah, yes.
It's getting closer to 100 billion.
Okay. Now I'm ready to actually take, now I'm ready to take questions. When do we have to be out of here?
If we're out of here by noon, theoretically.
Oh, okay. Well, we're in fine shape then.
Well, we gotta have some time to tear down too, but yeah. We got some time. Again, I've forgotten myself which ones we would want to try voting on. Do we want to go through
Shall
them
we
or
just do a quick one? Just,
straw poll or?
yeah. So we use what gestures do we have on our keyboard here? We got reactions.
Yeah, they
Oh,
can do a
okay.
thumbs up, see over there.
Yeah.
Show us the thumbs up instead it goes away.
Yeah.
Huh?
It times out.
Also, it'd be nice if we had something for, there's no thumbs down on, ooh, we do have faces. We could have a smiley or a frowny face.
Just call for a show of hands opposed and a show of hands.
All right. Shall we go through one by one?
Oh, I guess we can, yeah. We go quickly. So let's start off with 2, which is the school bond one.
Just the show of hands, either with the icon or who's in favor.
Anybody opposed, I guess, would be because this is the one.
You have to ask both.
Huh?
Yeah, we have to ask
There's a lot
both.
of people you're not gonna hear from, so you have to ask both.
Yeah, all in favor? We got 3, 4, 5. And Dick, 6. Okay, opposed. 2. No, one opposed, okay.
Well, I saw a thumbs up also.
I don't know what to do with that. We're asking for opposed and,
Good comments.
okay. I'll take your word for that.
Dana wants to say something.
Yeah, Dana?
Yeah, I'm just wondering because I heard that the enrollment in California is declining and that they might end up with a lot of empty schoolhouses or to get rid of. And I'm just wondering if that's true. I don't know if it's true.
I didn't
Anyone
see
else know?
any write-ups on the propositions, did you?
About what?
About the enrollment in California schools going down?
Yeah, the enrollment is going down, definitely. We just discussed this in another group I belong to too. In San Francisco, they're closing 11 schools. So
Yeah.
the question is, are you going to fix up those schools and then close them down? Because usually when they get closed down, they get sold off to commercial interests and they tear the school down to the ground. But I doubt that anybody would be stupid enough to, if they thought the school was going to go out of business, they would fix it up. I mean, it wouldn't make any rational sense, but anyway,
Disagree with that.
you want to let Zem and
Yeah, Zen, did you have a comment?
No, it's just my vestigial hand. I'll put it down.
You know, maybe we should ask, raise your hand if there's a specific proposition you want to discuss.
is there one of them that's in question in your mind?
Okay, well, shall we ask about Prop 3 then? No, yeah, shall we ask about Prop 3? All those in favor of Proposition 3, which was?
Same-sex marriage one?
Oh, same-sex marriage.
And of
Sure,
course, that's a shoe-in.
yeah. Okay, we have 2, 3.
Can you tell me what it is, Alex? I logged in late.
Your Thomas says it's not, it's gonna go away, so.
Okay. Several. Okay, all opposed. Put your hands down and raise them if you're opposed. None.
What was the text of the measure? I mean, what is it about?
There's a previous California constitutional amendment which insisted that marriage was only between a man and a woman. This will repeal that. Beyond that, I don't remember the exact wordings.
Oh, okay.
Well, I think there was no one that opposed it on the ballot even, so. The climate bond is next 4. And that's the one where they're gonna spend money, I guess bond money, as I recall. I'm lost track of them, but anyway, on infrastructure.
Okay,
And, I think that wasn't opposed either. Who's gonna oppose that?
Yeah, sure.
all those in favor? Oh.
In favor of this one?
Okay, we have 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Lower your hands, all opposed. No one, another unanimous vote.
What were you guys now?
Yeah, we.
I don't remember what it was,
I
but
think it
there weren't
was
any opposed. Okay, a lot of people didn't raise their hand, but so the next one is the voting threshold one, where you move the 66 2/3 down to 55%. And so who's in favor of that? I am, I guess.
2.
If it
What
turns
is
out
it
to be the
called?
wrong amount, I think we could just change the law and move it back up again.
Which is it? 5?
Prop 5.
Prop 5. So
5.
voting threshold where you move it down.
Okay, what did we get?
Looks like it.
Oh, Michael said, I think we got 5 there.
Yeah.
All those opposed?
You're opposed to that?
I'm opposed, yeah.
Huh.
2 of us, 3 of us. Is it Jerry and Dana?
No, just, yeah.
Okay, 3 opposed.
Okay,
So the
and
next one is-
voluntary servitude, that's the one that bought prisoners. And
Do I get to say something about 5,
What was that for?
lowering the number of voters that
Lowering
can,
threshold.
the threshold.
Oh.
Is this always such a good idea? I mean, if it's supposed to be representative democracy and it only takes a fingernail over 50% to get things passed that are very important. I mean, there's some speculation that our housing taxes would go up every time there's an election. So I think that when changing the threshold is maybe not such a good idea.
Well, remember, if you're over 65, you're exempt in most cities from these bond issues.
Someone's staring in the door over there.
Well, is that fair? I mean, basically, the elderly are already financially better off than the younger ones.
Wait a minute. They're making less money.
That's another debate. It's a long debate there.
Well, I'm convinced that the Gen, Z guys are in much worse shape.
And we better move on pretty quickly, yeah. So, so that one, I guess that's a yes. No, the involuntary servitude one, I'm sorry. That one there is, essentially outlaw. It says you can't force a prisoner to work. And, in other words, yeah, you can't force them to work. You can incentivize them to do work, but you can't force them to work. So, I guess I'm in favor of that myself, but what about the rest of you?
I'm not voting on that one. I'm still thinking about that.
Okay, so some question marks and mostly yeses, no?
Yeah.
Okay,
Who's David B? Is it,
I don't
it's
know.
your picture in that?
Yep.
Okay, lower your hand. All those opposed to,
What's the extent?
am I keeping count? I thought you were. It was, I think this is the way democracy is run. I think it was 4 votes.
Okay, the next,
Okay, all those opposed to, how did it read again? Oh, all those who do not oppose. What? You read it.
Okay, I'm confused. Is it still 6 or is it 32?
it's 6.
6.
Ah, okay.
And that's the one to prevent prisoners from being forced to work.
Yes,
Um,
anyone who don't want to prevent prisoners from being forced to work. No, good.
okay, minimum wage.
Oh, yes, the minimum wage one. That's the one that's going to cause inflation and keep people in a living wage. So all those in favor of increasing the minimum wage. 2.
Oh, 2 in one window. 2 and 2 windows.
Well, we're pretty, all right. I'm just marking down the general things. Okay,
Okay,
rent control,
Rent
the
control.
next one.
are we going to take negative? We didn't take the negative votes on this.
Huh?
Opposed?
All those opposed to increasing the minimum wage. 2.
Oh, we got at least
3,
2.
4,
3.
5. 5 opposed.
Wow, okay.
Who won that?
It passed by 1 vote. Leave drivers. Which is that 55%?
Okay, rent controls next,
one.
yeah.
Um,
That's the one that
yeah,
what does it say?
this will repeal previous law and allow townships and counties and so on to impose rent control.
I don't know if that's right or not. I can't remember, but anyway.
Yeah. Okay, all those in favor of that. Folks are moving around.
Stop the speed up, stop the speed
Okay,
up.
we'll give you 2 votes. 3, 4, 5, Okay. Low,
I'm
I got
opposed,
five.
so
that was five, I think.
I'm opposed, so is Rick apparently.
No, we didn't take the opposed yet.
Oh,
All those opposed? Two.
okay. Patient, what does that say? Shit.
Oh,
Patient spending, yeah.
That's that, that, yeah, institutions making over 100 a year with,
Which one? 34.
yeah, okay. All those in favor, all those who understand it, read and understand it, and are in favor of it, raise your hand. All right. All those opposed?
Hmm.
3, 4, 5.
This is 35, right?
Yes.
34.
34.
Yeah. 35 was.
34, okay.
What it
I
says.
oppose. Yes, that's correct.
I don't even know what that was.
I guess there's a couple of raised hands out there. We don't have much time. So, do you want to allow them to make quick comments? Less than 1 minute.
I don't need to say
All
anything.
the hands went down.
Oh, okay.
If you let them talk.
All right. What's the next one?
Healthcare tax.
Healthcare tax.
Well, yes.
I don't remember that
Based
one.
on- This is, it's not dramatic. Supports permanently authorizing a tax on managed care organizations based on monthly enrollees, which is set to expire in 2026, and requiring revenues to be used for increased Medicare programs. It seemed to be well supported.
I'm in favor of that.
This, by the way, is one that both the Republican and Democratic Party are in favor of.
Well, then we should be opposed.
That'll shake you up, huh? All those in favor?
I guess I'm in favor, right?
2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. All lower your hands. All those opposed? Okay.
Last one.
Last one. Let me see. Oh, the criminal penalties. Yes. I don't think I need to reread it. All those in favor of increased penalties? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, all those opposed? Lower your hands, all those opposed. That is to say, lower your hands, and now all those opposed, raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4,
Wow.
5.
So that's essentially a no sort of question mark. Okay.
The only one that didn't pass in our struggle.
It's only one what?
That didn't pass in our struggle.
Is it really?
No, it's actually, well, I had two, but,
Oh, and also 34. So 34, 36.
yeah. That's right.
The sponge, okay.
Okay, someone's checking one of these.